part of me. Yes, I've got you under my skin. I've tried so not to give in. I said to myself, this affair ain't never gonna go too well. But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too.
Hey, welcome back. So I wonder, do you guys fast forward through that song just to get to this, or do you listen to the whole song and groove along like I do? I don't know. I just love it. Anyway, my guest today, speaking of cool music, is a DJ on Spreaker. Go check him out. I'll have the link in the show notes. Ritesh Patel. But he's also the Chief Digital Officer at Ogilvy. So we totally geeked out on all kinds of stuff. It was a fun conversation. I've known Ritesh for a couple years, and we just love talking about tech stuff and health stuff, and it was a good time. So I hope you enjoy Ritesh Patel. Oh, and thanks for listening. Subscribe and all that stuff. Yeah. Anyway, here's Ritesh Patel.
But you know what? It's fascinating because 4 years ago when I started the radio thing, it was only on this one platform, right? It was the only one that would allow copyright material because they paid ASCAP and they were paying the artist royalties. And so everybody else wouldn't let you do a live show because I was using music that was copyrighted, and they'd shut it down straight away.
Right.
So Spreaker was the only platform that had paid up the money and the dues that they passed on to you. So it wasn't cheap. It wasn't expensive, but it wasn't cheap either. Yeah. It was like $200 and something a year, but they took care of all the royalty stuff. So you could actually do live radio, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Before radio.co and all those guys came along, right?
Yeah.
And so they've moved into the podcast arena completely, except for about 4 of us who originally started with them on the music thing.
Yeah.
So they've grandfathered us. So we keep doing music on their platform, but everything else is just podcasts. It's literally, things like this and people talking.
Yeah.
There's only 4 out of 4 of us DJs left on the platform. At one point, they had about 5,000 of us on there.
Wow.
Because most of the DJs moved to Mixcloud or SoundCloud or Twitch or, radio.co and places like that.
Yeah.
But why I loved it was, why I like it is, one, I'm grandfathered in and I can still do my copyright thing. But what they have is an automatic publication system. So my weekly radio show gets published automatically to Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Spotify, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, and a bunch of other platforms. So once my show ends on a Sunday at 4:00 Eastern Standard Time, by 5 p.m., boom, it's out on all the other platforms.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's what they've done really well, is connected all the other platform infrastructures together. And now they allow podcasters. They won't allow me to do anything because I'm using copyright material. But they allow podcasters to monetize. So they've got a great publisher network now set up so you can earn money with your podcasts. And they will, they syndicate it. They put it out there. You promote it on your social media. But for every listen, they'll pay you, I think, anywhere from, my first time when they did it with my music, and I was getting 400 to 500 listens a week through this infrastructure.
Yeah.
I was making like $300 a week.
Wow. That's cool.
So you might want to look at it, but
what is it called?
Yeah, it's a thing called Spreaker, Spreaker. Spreaker.com.
I'll check it out. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other part about like working with artists is that they need to find creative ways to make money.
Mm-hmm.
And podcasts can make money, and
they can.
YouTube channels can make money, and it's this idea of like, hey man, the rules are gone.
Yeah,
the rules are gone. Just be good. Keep making your art. Keep doing what you like to do, and never before could you do that.
You should do Twitch. You should get you and a couple of other comics do a Friday night Twitch show.
Twitch,
comedy on Twitch. Yeah.
What do you think about Clubhouse? You like Clubhouse? I noticed you were on there.
I'm on it. I'm addicted to it. That's the problem. I had to put my phone away because I was like, I'm going to be up till 2 a.m. this way. So I've hosted a number of rooms on there.
Yeah.
In fact, my middle son came in from, he's a coach, so he came in from training his team, and he was listening in on one of the conversations. He's like, Dad, those people must be like 26 or 20. They must be millennial. He's like, because the words they were using, and I'm like, yeah, they are actually. And they're talking to a DJ.
Well, one thing we have to talk about, which is going to be really controversial, I think, or maybe you'll convince me, and this is a good place to start. Why do you hate Microsoft Teams so much?
Here we go. Lovely. I love this topic. And if you want to start with that, I'm all in.
Let's do it.
Engineers should not create crappy software during a pandemic just because you work at Microsoft and then claim it's good. This is my thing, right? So here's how this works. So I've been a Slack user for 5 years. I'm a member of 16 Slack teams internally, and I'm a member of about another 7 that we share with all sorts of other places. Entrepreneurs, companies we partner with. Everything is in one user interface. I click a button, the call starts, we chat, end it, we share, we drag and drop stuff, conversations are indexed, you can reply, you can do emojis, you can do everything. It works flawlessly. And it works flawlessly on my phone, works flawlessly on my iPad, works flawlessly on my Mac. Along comes corporate IT and says, yeah, it's all good, but it's not secure. And I'm like, bullshit. And NASA uses Slack. Citibank uses Slack. So don't give me this it's not secure thing. You just want to give me Microsoft Teams because it's free and you don't want to pay for Slack. But you've got about 1,000 millennials who love this thing because that's what they use at college. They don't use Teams at college.
Right.
They use Slack. So when I bring a new young employee in, I don't have to teach them anything. This is normal to them. This is the normal way of working.
Yeah.
And so they go, no. Yeah, it's corporate. There's lots of issues. It's not enterprise. You're going to have to use Teams. I'm like, okay, fine. But I'm going to keep my Slack instance for my team. Otherwise, everything else, I'll do that. So I download the thing. I'm now a member of an Ogilvy team, a WPP team, a client team, another client team, another client team. So I have a call with you, Matt. You're working at wherever you're working, and we have a team instance, and we're sharing documents, and we have this, conference call, and we hang up. And thank you very much. My next meeting is with this other company that I'm working with for their Teams instance. As soon as I launch it, I have to log out of the Teams I was in to go into their Teams instance. And as soon as I do that, the whole thing crashes. I have to reboot. So now I have to reboot my computer. And then I have to reauthorize myself. So I have to go through all of the rigmarole of the multi-factor authentication. Because as far as Teams is concerned, there was a crash and this user the session has ended. So now I have to go get my phone. I have to get the authenticator. I have to do the user, So now I have to log back in. I have to go back into that team. I can't share documents between teams. So if I want to share a document with you and you work for a partner and you're working with me on a client and you have your Teams thing, I have my Teams thing, and the client has their Teams thing, I have to put the document in all 3 places.
Yeah. Your use case is very different than mine. And I think it's interesting because I am almost the opposite, where if you're internal and you stay internal,
it's fine.
It's great.
Looks fine.
And when you have that's where I didn't like Slack because Slack was a swivel for me. Teams is all encompassing. But do you think that they're going to get there? I mean, they obviously know Slack exists, and Teams has been in development for a while. I mean, I was working with them 2017 or so in its early days. And I will say this, I don't know if they knew just how much they had to absorb to supplant those other things, right?
Here's my biggest thing with Microsoft Microsoft and this whole team situation. And it's not Teams, it's just in general. They're very good. Microsoft has two things going for them, and they absolutely use that to their advantage every time. They have convinced the brainwashed masses in corporate IT that they're the only secure player in the world, which is not true. And what happens then is we, the people who have to live with this stuff on a day-to-day basis to do our work or be productive, are at the beck and call of people who don't ask the users, would you do this? They just foist it upon you because it's in the guise of this is enterprise security and Microsoft is the only thing that is secure. And so therefore you're forced to use something. And I really viscerally react to anything where I'm forced to do something without somebody asking me, is it good for you or not? Particularly when it affects my productivity, right? That's my personal thing.
Yeah.
The corporate thing is they're very good at taking great technology and killing it and making it the crappiest user interface ever. And we have to be forced to change the way we work to accommodate their crappy technology and user interface. So the examples I can give you, SharePoint is still a thing.
Yeah.
Corporate IT loves SharePoint. Well, we'll just put up a SharePoint site. I'm now a member of 144 SharePoint sites. I have no clue where the document is that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Right? So what do? I call the person. I say, hey, Matt, can you resend me that document? I can't seem to find it. And you go, sure, no problem, because you've got it on your desktop somewhere. Rather than it's in SharePoint. So that's number one. It's still around. And then they take things like Yammer, which was really, really good when it was launched. It was one of the best things that I saw. And they buy it, and they kill it, and they destroy it, and they turn it into Teams, which is the worst thing ever. So those are all the issues I have with Microsoft. But they will always continue. You know, they're the IBM of the 2000s, right?
Wow, interesting.
Just think of in your world, right? Think of just basics, right? You get and the jokes are there. Remember what the jokes around the Microsoft car? Oh, I'll have to turn it off and turn it on again at the traffic light to keep it going, right?
Yeah.
You know, you'll need to do Control-Alt-Delete to start it or stop it. You know, why? Why is the button called a start button? It should be the stop button, right? Like, who thought of that?
It's so interesting because one thing is that I think that what they've done is give people way too many options to screw up the whole works. And it's kind of their ethos is to say, well, we'll make the tools. You use them however you want. You build with them, right? And that's good if everybody knows how to do that.
That's right.
But like your SharePoint example is the most glaring, which is like, here is this incredibly powerful cloud-based content management system, super flexible. You can do metadata. You can do folders if you like folders. You can search. The search is powerful. It's all connected. And you can't hand that to every single person in an organization and let them build their own like environment. You can, and that's what happened, you know, but it would have been better if they basically didn't tell you it was there ever and just said, don't worry about documents. Just name them whatever you want. The search is, you know what I mean? Like, I find this now across the board, almost in every one of these systems that gets deployed, is if you don't know how to use it, all of it, in depth, you can't possibly apply it correctly to your business case.
Correct.
You're always going to try to square peg round hole it or throw up your hands or do it wrong. And, you know, it's very frustrating because when done correctly, it's really powerful, which is why I reacted so viscerally to your I hate Teams, because I'm like, oh man, we're really using it really smart. I've deployed it really well. I have controls on it, and I get the use case, but I'm not the average user because, when the pandemic hit, we had literally within, I think, 3 weeks of the day of like March 16th. So like mid to late February, we finally flipped the switch and got rid of all the Skype, got rid of all the other IM platforms and turned on like, okay, everybody's now on Teams, like 3 weeks before the pandemic hit. But there was still a lot of people still limping along, never having dialed in from anywhere and never used that thing. And we're used to Skype. So we had the pandemic plus nobody knew where anything was in Teams. I had come from 2 or 3 years working with Microsoft, so I was very familiar. I was like, oh, cool, easy. And I ended up being like help desk for Teams along with like 2 or 3 other people who knew what was going on in the whole company because it was so, to your point, not intuitive unless you really get what they were trying to do.
Exactly.
Because they blew up and like veered away. It was almost like they ignored Slack, and ignored Asana and those types of things and said, no, it's going to be here. So I hear your point. I really do. Like, I think that's a really strong point. And I spent a lot of time in the incubation of it, thinking of the possibilities. So I already knew where they were trying to get to, but I could see like having it dropped on you and being like, what? What's going on? Because the other part that's really cool about it, do you remember Lotus Notes?
Oh yeah.
So
I used to be a Lotus Notes developer and deployer.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I see.
Cool, man.
That's what I see in Teams.
Yeah.
Is the potential of what Lotus Notes had in the 90s.
Yeah. And Mitch Capel went to work at Microsoft for a while after they bought it, right? Wasn't it?
Really?
So look, here's my other. So for 2 years, I connected X.AI, this AI assistant, to my Outlook calendar, right? And I trained the machine for a year, and it was working flawlessly, and clients loved it. So here I am, the chief digital officer for Ogilvy, one of the largest premier brands in the world, who's trying to convince their clients that AI is good and they should start thinking about using it. And then they find out that my assistant, who they were literally talking to, how's your day? Can he do Tuesday at 2:00? Yes, he can. He's got a break 2 to 3, or you can also have 4 to 5. They thought this was a person. That's how well I trained this machine, right? Corporate IT comes along from WPP as part of this Microsoftization of our company and shuts the damn thing off. I, for 2 weeks, had clients complaining like crazy because they had meetings I missed. They were requesting meetings from this thing and it wasn't giving them options. Until I sort of looked and I saw I'd lost the connection. I tried to connect and I couldn't. So I put a help desk ticket in and I got a nasty gram back from some help desk clerk in India that said, you're not allowed to use this system. It's not approved. I'm like, I've been bloody well using it for 2 years. Well, no, you have to use Microsoft. Yeah, but it doesn't do this. This is really amazing. And our clients think we're amazing because we're using AI. They can't believe how we've used this. So for our brand, it's amazing. Well, it's not approved. You can't use it. You have to use Cortana from Microsoft. That's the only approved product you can use. But nobody asked me what my use cases were.
Yeah.
Well, we don't want to know. This is the approved product.
Yeah.
And that's what Microsoft has done. What they've done is they've stupefied our IT functions. And our IT functions have gone from collaborative, what do you need, how can I give it to you, to if it's not Microsoft, it doesn't work and you have to have it. That's what I visually react to.
Are you seeing that across industry too?
Yeah, everywhere we go.
Yeah.
Corporate IT functions have become Microsoft resellers in my view. They've done a fantastic job of that. The problem is you're stymieing innovation and you're also stymieing productivity. Creative industries like ours cannot use things like Microsoft. They're too standard and too rigid. You can't have creativity without having exploration of new ideas and new thinking. And so X.AI was a new idea and new thinking in the way artificial intelligence could be used in one single use case, right? But the beauty of it was our clients said, wait, if you can figure that out, what else can we do with it? And I literally got a $500,000 project from Pfizer to create an AI bot for clinical investigators to make them more efficient and stop protocol deviation based on the interaction the customer had with my AI bot. Because up until that point, they didn't believe it could work.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem I have with Microsoft.
Interesting. I get it. I mean, I think I hadn't thought of it in that way because where it's so powerful is in a closed box. It's excellent in a closed box.
I have no doubts.
Yeah, but forcing it on folks who shouldn't be in a closed box is limiting. That's very interesting. Yeah. But what I think has changed though is that you can. Well, this goes back to my other thing is they don't want to build anything. So like they unfortunately, I think, are missing so many opportunities to zero in on sectors and super make them super capable with their tools by leaving it up to people to do the middle layer who are always going to be out of sync. So yeah, I can build on it, but I get the patch when you get the patch,
That's right.
Instead of like saying, okay, like, cause we talked about this, they've dabbled in the healthcare sector for so long instead of being like, this is a big industry that we can really help, or look at automotive or look at NASA or any of those things. Exactly. And, I think it's a missed opportunity if nothing else, because when in the closed box, it is working so powerfully, and they just launched this Viva platform, VIVA, and it's just like, this could really help organizations a lot. But yeah, I didn't think of it outside of that realm, because that's
underestimate the stupidity of humans. You can't give them the Ferrari and say, off you go, right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny.
So there you are. There's my anti-Microsoft teams, and I'll continue to tweet that every couple of days with every time. And it's frustrating because it always happens when it's a very important client or a very important meeting. It doesn't happen until then. And then you're late. I'm consistently late I'm always 5 to 8 minutes late for a Teams meeting now. Yeah. Because I have to reboot my machine and we go through the whole authentication process.
That is...
Because I'm in multiple domains. It's crazy.
Yeah, that stinks. Yeah. If they're smart, they'll come to you and fix it.
Yeah.
So you don't have that problem.
Right.
But by the same token, like, how can you change the minds of like the IT groups to get smarter about this too? It's like, hey, secure is one thing, but handicapping your business is a whole other. Like, you're not going to have anything to secure if we can't work.
Well, the thing is, and there's a thing called fishbowl. Mm-hmm. And it's a sort of a glass door kind of thing for ad agencies. And I follow the Ogilvy and the WPP fish bowls, the bowls.
Yeah.
And in those bowls, you'll always get at least once a week, why does our IT suck so bad? Right? And we've just got a new CIO as well. And this is the reason. It's not that it sucks. It's that they've never talked to the users and said, what do you need to do your job better?
Yeah.
And how can I give it to you? What they've done is they've said, we need standards and we need security, and therefore we're going to put in Microsoft and Okta. Yeah. You've got to do it. Whether you like it or not, whether it helps you or not, you're going to do it. So what that does is it creates this chasm within the organizations, and it's everywhere. you can create in your stand-up event, you could do a half an hour stand-up just on corporate IT.
Mm-hmm.
You could. And it's every company, right?
Yeah.
So you could start with the old, I called the help desk and the guy said, did you turn it off and turn it on? Please try again. My name is Philip, right? You can just do that joke for 10 minutes because it's the truth. So
I just want to say for the record that
and I am telling you, this is the worst thing that anybody is doing to me. I am turning it off, turning it on, and you are not listening. Please turn it off again. Did you unplug it? Check the printer.
Oh, God.
Is the cable in, right? This is what we've done. Instead of saying you generate revenue, because here's the other thing, I particularly in service industries, IT has to understand that the revenue that's being generated by people like me is paying for their salaries to do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
So all the time that I lose productivity and billable hours is wasted money that could go into investment for them.
Yeah.
Right? For every hour I lose because I have to deal with crappy technology is an hour of revenue that's missed by the company that could be used to invest in tools and technologies that they could then deploy.
Yeah.
And they miss that. They miss that. So they should come to a service company and to the employees who are generating the revenue to say, how can we help you do more? How can we help you be more efficient? How can we help you be more creative? How can we help you generate more income, more revenue?
Yeah.
Rather than, this is our standard. You have to live with it. I know, and it's like, but you don't understand what I do. Let me show you my use case of the 16 different team sites. And I ended up last week, I lost 1.7 hours by rebooting teams all week. Right?
Wow.
So it's those kinds of things that I so Teams is a manifestation of that, But I just get frustrated that corporations, IT folks, and I have friends and I've been a CIO. I get it.
Yeah.
But even when I was a CIO, I assigned account people to all the departments to ensure that we were giving them what they needed as opposed to me dictating something to them for the sake of standardization or security or infrastructure. My job was to make sure I put the plumbing in. So Matt Neal, whenever he traveled around the world and he came to one of our offices and he plugged in, it just worked.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, it's almost like they got to split the CIO because security's become such an important part of all of this. They have to split that job out of the CIO and make like a corporate enablement officer or something who can actually go fix all the business problems and then go to the CIO and say, they need this.
That's right.
So we got to figure out how to make it secure.
That's right.
Right? Which is instead of the top down, everything has to be locked down so we don't get, hacked or whatever. And productivity and use cases, go out the window.
Yeah. I have a bunch of CIOs who are friends on a WhatsApp group, and that's all they talk about these days. Oh, how am I going to secure that device that's sitting in the house on a router that I don't know nothing about? And I'm like, I think you're coming at the problem the wrong way.
Yeah.
What you should be doing is, what tools can I provide this person so they're very, very, very efficient at home, sitting in their home house? So maybe what you should do is figure out a way to bundle up a router and a machine and send it to them.
Yeah. Get off your home network and here's a company router and a company machine. Just plug it in and it's all done. And now I'm monitoring it remotely and I don't have to worry about any of this crap. Yet they're all going, oh my God, now I've got to deal with home routers and home networks and VPNs. And I'm thinking, the amount of money and cost that's involved in doing all of that, you could have given every employee their own router that you provided that had all the security on it that you put on. Yeah. Control the environment. Yeah.
But anyway, I'm a radical guy. I like to complain.
That's how you break stuff, right?
There you go.
That's
exactly.
How you break stuff. Oh,
but don't tell me. I will tell you. Don't worry. I was on a call the other day with a couple of our senior leaders from all over, and one of them was having trouble with their machine, and I literally broke out into that. I was like, Mark, do you want me to help you? I will be very happy to come and do the needful. Just tell me what is going on. And the whole webinar stopped for about 3 minutes. People, and it was so funny. Some people were like, should we be offended? Like, should we laugh? This is funny, but maybe we shouldn't laugh. Maybe you'll get... Well, there were others just cracking up, basically saying, oh my God, I can't believe he did that.
That's good. Yeah, it's insane. It is insane. And yet here we are. I guess it keeps us going, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's why do I hate Teams so much? What else you got?
I learned a lot from that. That's
there you go.
Like I said, your use case is a different one that I hadn't considered. We have a little of it to deal with, but it's like onesie twosie here things. But if I had to switch all day, I'd be pissed.
I have 12 pharma clients, 12 global pharma clients.
Yeah.
I have 4 partners, including Microsoft as one of them.
Yeah. I
have our own teams, Ogilvy. I'm a member of the WPP teams. I'm a member of the VML-Y&R, which is another system company of WPP teams, because we have a client that we're sharing with VML-Y&R. And I'm a member of the, and then on top of that, we have 2 partners that we work with who are on teams.
It's the way
I'm literally navigating between 20 and 22 different instances, all set up differently with different configurations, different username and passwords and IDs and logon capabilities, some with multi-factor, some with Okta, some with whatever.
That's a nightmare.
On Slack, I have 31 clients. I never have to hop in and out of anything.
Yeah, because you're all pointing at one thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
And that should make it easier to secure from a company standpoint and be like, you have one thing to check.
Yeah. Hello.
Right? So you jumping from team to team is actually less secure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker. The pharma companies obviously are more even secure than we are at WPP, right? Yeah. So you can imagine, I think when I first signed up for one of the clients, not only did they have multi-factor, then I have to download some app, a custom app that their security guys had created specifically for their Teams instance. But I couldn't get the custom app because I didn't have their domain.com email address, because the only people who can download that app to get authentication is with that domain address, and I'm not an employee. So now I'm going back and forth with their IT guys, and they're like, well, you can't log on then. I'm like, yeah, but I have to. This is the only way I can work. My client is telling me the only way I can get these documents is through this. So you know what they did? They sent me a zip file via WeTransfer.
Yeah, that's much more secure.
Right? I could have forwarded a link to 22 people.
Yeah, that is really frustrating.
Anyway, enough of that. Enough of the complaining. Life is good otherwise. Look, we're both alive. We're having a great chat. Life is good.
Teams is just
an organization that I just hope to God Satya Nadella comes to his senses and kills the damn thing. Puts it out of its misery. It deserves to be taken out, back shot, and buried in a shallow grave.
You know what? This conversation is gonna make a reality your dreams of, Teams for external partners.
Yeah,
they got to fix it. Look,
they got to fix it now.
If you're pissed,
why do you think I tweet at them all the time? Because nobody's ever sent not one single response from any Microsoft person as to, hey, can I help you? Like, you keep bashing us. Not a single response ever.
Really? See, that I'm surprised about.
Yeah.
Well, I might send an email tomorrow. I know a guy who knows a guy.
I know a guy.
Oh God, dude! I was thinking about, we were talking earlier about how I don't miss travel, and I think that's true from a business travel standpoint, because it just becomes such a grind. But I do miss going places for vacation and seeing culture and eating incredible food, which has made me think of you. And New Orleans, and I really want to have a recount from your perspective of our evening in New Orleans, because it was a first
I
for
don't
you.
think I remember that evening. I think it was a bit fuzzy around 11 o'clock.
That was a good time, man.
I do remember, waiting in the lobby and all the craziness that was going on with everybody dressed up, and it was just amazing.
It's been really fun. I've really enjoyed the biotech sector. I never really worked in small biotech. It was always like medium and large companies. So this is really fun. It's really fun. And
I really, I work with maybe 3 or 4 small biotechs. And I really love the vibes they have, and they're pretty fearless. They're on a mission.
Yeah,
and I love the energy that they have, because they're so curious in everything. They'll explore anything if it helps them, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to one small company, and their CEO's in Ireland. There's a headquartered in Ireland, and we were on a webinar with them. We were on a Zoom call with them last week. And I was taking him through this thing that we've developed, and he's like, "Wow, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah, let's give it a try."
Yeah.
I mean, most big pharma companies are like, "Oh, wait a minute, I've got to go through 16 layers of PRT. I've got to go through legal." This CEO is like, "Okay, let's give it a try. When can you start? Like, can you start something next week and pilot it and give me? Let's try for 3 months, and if it works well, then we'll go for it." That curiosity is fantastic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I didn't realize that that's what I was really missing, and so it's been awesome. Like I said, this year has been the whole pandemic has been extremely productive, if not isolating and sad to watch. Talk about colossal failure of systems and everything all at once. We talk about a fumble, and in handling something that. The computing power, the AI, the predictability, it's a double-edged sword, right? Because we saw this year colossal failure on one end of being able to, last year, to be able to kind of contain the pandemic. And right alongside of it, you have AI determining the way to create a vaccine inside of 2 days once they got the molecule to getting in people's arms less than a year later. That's mayhem. That's so incredible. Did you get the vaccine yet?
Yeah, I've got the first shot. We got the second shot on Saturday.
Would you get? Which one?
Moderna.
Yeah. I'm supposed to get it tomorrow.
Yeah, so the first one was February 27th.
Okay.
So the next one's March 27th. So
nice.
Saturday coming up, we'll get the second one. So
yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. Yeah. I think anybody that can get it should get it, obviously. And whichever one you can get, do it. But the technologist in me was hoping that it would come, that I would get the new ones. Yeah. Because I just think it's neat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's kind of messed up, but I'm like,
I'm with you, pal. Totally with you. I think mRNA, that whole mRNA technology is just mind blowing. And the ability to then scale and speed and scale is what AI gave us to get this done. It wouldn't have been otherwise. Otherwise, we'd be sitting here still in year 3 with, oh shit, where's the vaccine? Because if we'd used traditional methods with traditional scientists and investigators and everything else. Yeah. And so you're spot on. Technology and science has saved us, basically. Yeah. At the end of the day, right?
It's really neat.
It's amazing.
It's not like I would have been sad to get the Johnson & Johnson one, but I've been like, we've been doing that for 100 years.
Yeah. It's one shot. We need 2, and they have to be separated.
I wonder if that'll shake out next year.
It will.
It's got to be a dose finding issue, right?
It will. No, I think it will. So first of all, we're going to have one every year, like the flu shot. It's going to be the same thing, right? Yeah. You've got to get vaccinated every year, for sure. Secondly, I think what will happen is over time, the big thing, the reason I was even more keen on the Moderna versus the Pfizer one was I'd done really deep, and I did a lot of work in reviewing all of the trial material. Mm-hmm. And they really, really, really went far in testing it in multiple ethnicities, countries, body types,
Yeah.
male, female, age groups. So the diversity of testing was enormous. And to see the safety and efficacy rates across all of those being consistent makes you, comfortable that, you know what, I'm Asian, my biology is Asian in heritage.
Yeah.
And, some of the foods I eat and the environment I'm in is very Asian. So it would work for me as well as my friend Matthew, who lives on the beach in Malibu and eats nothing but hamburgers every day, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the beauty of the mRNA stuff that I really love, that Moderna did. Even Pfizer didn't have the diversity of testing. These guys, Moderna did a really bang-up job of the diversity of the trial participants, which I think was one of the other reasons I was thankful I got the Moderna one.
And am I correct in that this was their big play? This was all they were doing, right? mRNA,
actually, no. They had a pipeline that they were doing, but when this came along, they realized...
Not COVID, I mean mRNA.
Sorry?
I don't mean just for COVID, I mean for mRNA.
Oh, no, yeah. mRNA is the only platform they have. Yeah. Yeah, they were trying to commercialize products on mRNA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole modus operandi. And man, what a time to be, right? They had an RFP out to help them promote and market the vaccine, and we responded to it. That's why I got so deep into all of the research, because we were one of the companies that were invited to bid on it. We didn't win it, but
did they have to advertise?
Sorry?
Did they have to advertise at all?
That's what
Jesus.
Let me think. We've got to spend $100 million advertising that we have a vaccine for COVID.
Have you guys heard about this
No.
thing?
No, this was to build the brand, to build the actual brand for the product.
I know.
But even still, you're so spot on. Why are you advertising? You don't need to. I can just see the TV campaign already. Do you have COVID? We have a vaccine.
Do you think that we'll keep? Do you think we'll keep? What are there, a dozen now? Do you think we'll keep a dozen? Do you think a dozen companies will continue to manufacture them in perpetuity?
No, wait. Merck's going to come up with something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You got the heritage companies that will still do something. So I'm sure Merck will do something. One of the things I love about Merck in following that company is they're like the tortoise and the hare kind of folks. They're the tortoise, but they always win. They make gobs of, when BMS blazed a trail with Opdivo and IO and this whole new way of, treating cancer. And they were like 2 years ahead with Opdivo. They were making gobs of money, and now Keytruda just killed them.
Yeah.
Keytruda is just killing them, right?
That's amazing.
That's
amazing
the culture. The culture is very much the toy. So they'll have something for sure.
Yeah. But do you think they'll
and
continue
I'm sure you'll see more companies coming through.
But do you think, because it's not that typical that you have multiple companies making the same exact thing year on year, right? I don't know.
Well,
I guess it goes generic kind of thing, right?
I think it'll go the same route as the flu vaccine.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's been amazing to watch. And at the exact same time, amazing to watch how many people don't believe in the science at all. That surprised me. That was amazing, Yeah.
I call it the death of the expert. It's not just science. It's all sorts of things, right? People, there are doctors out there. There are doctors that I know on Clubhouse who also spread all this craziness.
Yeah.
The doctors. And they don't believe this stuff. And I'm like, guys, if you don't, there's something really wrong here.
Yeah.
And you're not doing your profession a service either, right? Because you're putting your colleagues at risk, because every time you spout off all this misinformation, people know that you're a doctor and therefore they believe you. But that means that your colleagues in the emergency room are getting more people coming in with COVID because you said that.
Yeah.
So you're putting your own colleagues at risk here, which is just, I would never do that. Never.
Yeah, we got to figure out a way. I've been obviously thinking about it a lot, but it's like, how can we avoid this in the future, I don't know how we can, but I think
can't.
it's got something to
And
do with
the genie has
communication.
left the bottle. I think the blame lies at the feet of Dorsey and Zuckerberg. Think about it, right? The village idiot now has a way to absolutely amplify their message. And they'll reach all the other village idiots in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Where before the village idiot was laughed at in the village because they were stuck in that village. They couldn't go anywhere. Yeah. That's why they were the village idiot, right? So the platforms have given the vocal minority, and as I said before, never underestimate the stupidity of humanity and humans in general. It's given these people a platform to amplify, and that's what's gone wrong here, without any check or balance in the interest and in defense of free speech. And I think it's wrong. And I think Dorsey and Zuckerberg chasing the dollar have literally killed society in the process for their own good, for their own aims, which is I want to make a lot of money and grow the biggest company ever.
How do we fix it?
You've got to break up Facebook and Twitter, first of all. Secondly, you can't have that much power in one person who gets to decide, right? Zuckerberg gets to decide what happens on Facebook. And he will stand in front of Congress and say, I'm doing all I can, but they're not. We started a campaign. We started some work last year when all this hate stuff started appearing on social. Yeah. And it literally is. Think about it. The vocal minority has a platform that they've never, ever, ever had in their entire lives. Yeah. And it's changed the way we behave. It's changed society. I had a back and forth with a guy in our local town on one of our town pages on Facebook. And I said, all right, guy, tell you what, because he's a staunch Trump supporter. And I said, right, let's meet at the bar. I'm not doing this on Facebook. Yeah. I want to see you face to face. Let's go have a drink at the local bar and let's have a conversation. And at the bar, you know what? At the end of 2 drinks, you're okay, he says. I like you. And that's the problem. Yeah. We've taken away that humanity and we've given the ability for it to be completely degraded and done. So, we did a camp. We started looking at how we could stop hate on these platforms, and we started talking to them. We said, look, you've got to give us a capability of us to report hate speech on your platform, and they said we have it. So we got one of our data scientists in India to sort of look at it. Facebook only gets about 1.5% to 2% of all hate speech on their platform.
You mean catch it?
That's it.
They only catch
it. Only catch 1.5% to 2%.
Wow.
Zuckerberg will sit in front of Congress and say he catches 98% of it. He doesn't. Because they're relying on machines to do it. And the machines can't do it because we humans, there's too many of us on the platform, spreading it too quickly. Right? Memes, WhatsApp. WhatsApp is responsible for more killings in India because of rumors being spread on WhatsApp than any other platform ever. Wow. Ever. Yeah. Yeah. Hindus are killing Muslims based on a rumor that was spread on WhatsApp. Wow. It's madness. And so that's the issue. I don't think it's an issue of us. I think the issue is social. As I say to my children all the time when they were growing up, with every good, there's a bad. Yeah. And you've got to make sure you know both. So when you think you've got this amazing thing, make sure you understand what the bad things are about this amazing thing. Yeah. And what Facebook and Twitter have done is they've ignored the bad. And only because they're chasing valuation. Silicon Valley has a lot to do with this as well. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of blame all over the place, including the regulators.
Yeah. I was reading an article that was really interesting that was talking about how the Capitol insurrection probably had more to do with radicalization of QAnon and those types of things through TikTok, not Facebook and Twitter, because TikTok amplifies the message exponentially.
Yeah. As I said, all these social platforms, that's exactly it. The algorithm is the one.
Yeah, but it's
Again,
even like that
chasing
visual
money.
part. That visual part,
Yeah,
you stay
yeah,
there. And what they were
exactly.
saying was because you have humans lip syncing messages, it creates this illusion that more humans are saying the thing. And it's this mental connect that
Yeah,
made TikTok even more dangerous because the
yeah,
numbers are higher, the
yeah,
engagement's higher. You got, what is it, 80 million people on the platform or some ridiculousness.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah.
oh man, we are,
Well,
it's,
think of it. Did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams as an American that you would ever witness what happened in DC?
no,
And
no.
here's the best bit about this. The scariest bit about this. That everything we tell the rest of the world is bad, banana republics particularly, where we say you've got dictators, you've got
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
it's not about democracy, is happening in our backyard right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Including people who are sitting in power. Republicans are sitting there saying exactly those things. They absolutely firmly believe this stuff, right? Which
crazy.
is the scariest part ever, right? So I think we started this conversation on I think social has a massive responsibility here.
Yeah.
WhatsApp, TikTok, WeChat, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they all have a big responsibility. The only ones I see trying to do something about it is Google and YouTube. And they're trying very hard.
Yeah.
The rest of them couldn't give a crap. Couldn't give a crap. They're destroying us, our society, chasing the almighty dollar.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. When I think it's completely unrealistic, obviously at this point, maybe not, but it's kind of like, you know what? We're letting these things rule us. We know they're wrong. And guess what? We don't really need them anymore. We didn't have them 10 years ago. So unless we're going to use them for good, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, Facebook's great because I can have pictures of my kids and my parents can see them. And everybody's on it, so you can always get to somebody. That's great. Let's keep that part. Twitter's great. Lots of information. Free speech. Awesome. If you don't like what people say, don't follow them. Simple. But it's those algorithms, man. The algorithms that are driving the wedge that I hope we can finagle our way out of.
But they do need to be regulated, even with free speech. Here's one.
Yeah.
Newspapers and TV folks have editorial departments specifically for this reason, right? Did you check that story?
Yeah.
Did you make sure it was all checked? Did you go speak to the person who told you that? Did you witness this? All those things are put in place as controls to make sure that the story that goes out into the newspaper or on television or on radio is actually correct. Journalists go out in the field and they do this work.
Yeah.
That's what they love doing. Investigational journalists are one of my favorite folks, right?
Yeah.
Because they get to the bottom of the story. They get to the facts. They get to what really did happen here, right? Where on Facebook, there's none of that, and they don't want that. And they're using free speech as the fence that they hide behind.
Yeah.
Right? If you're going to allow people to post opinions about something, and you have a community rule that says you're not allowing hate speech, but if you're President Trump, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I can post something with an F word in it, and my tweet gets deleted, and I get into Twitter jail.
Yeah.
But Trump can post whatever he wants, and it's free speech.
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
And that's the problem I have with all of this. You can see I'm very much a radical when it comes to this kind of stuff. Make it fair for everybody. If you're going to create the rule should apply to everybody. We're a country of law and order. Laws apply to everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're the king or you're the janitor.
Yeah.
If you break that law, then that applies. Whatever ramification there is should apply to you. We've now created a system in the US where the laws only apply to people who only apply to. It doesn't apply to everybody anymore.
Yeah.
That's where we've gone completely wrong.
It's getting weird.
It should be fascinating to see what happens. I have faith in the younger generation. I see my 18-year-old and his peer group.
Yeah.
And they know all this already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know all this. So I am hoping just like I was hoping science and technology will save us from the pandemic, that this 18-year-olds generation is going to save us from this craziness that's going on right now on social.
Well, if you notice, speaking about the insurrection, not a lot of young people.
No, all the youngsters were in Antifa and Black Lives Matter and, gay rights and all of those things.
That's the part that's so fascinating to me is like, you can.
And it's all white.
Yeah.
It's all white.
It's like really, it was so straightforward. I was just like, man, we got a real problem here. How do you convince these folks that they're in a cult and they should probably not be in it anymore?
Yeah,
and,
exactly. We needed an intervention. Did you ever see the movie 42, the Jackie Robinson story with Harrison Ford?
Yeah.
So, I work in the kitchen a lot of the times if I don't have webinars and things.
Yeah.
And so I always have the TV on, and it's usually BBC News in the background because it's wonderful. Yeah. It's a great thing. BBC News, first thing in the morning from 7 till 9, gives you what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. You get to hear, you don't hear about what the Kardashians are up to or whatever. You actually see that, by the way, there was a massive fire in the Rohingya camp in Bangladesh this morning. We haven't heard about it here, but 700 Rohingya refugees died this morning in Bangladesh because somebody set fire to their camps. There's 1 million Rohingya who have fled Myanmar and moved to Bangladesh because they were persecuted over there. And somebody set fire to their camp this morning. So 400 of them died this morning, right? That sort of stuff, right? Yeah. So you get the news in the morning, 10 o'clock, you get this thing called Click. Click for half an hour shows you all of the newfangled gadgets that are coming through, VR, AR. Today it was these glasses which have got VR in them, but cameras and transcription. And I'm sitting there going, man, I could apply that in healthcare by giving those to doctors and connecting it to Epic.
Yeah.
So they don't have to ever type anything into the EHR system. They just talk into the glasses, right?
Yeah.
So fantastic stuff. And then halfway through, I thought, I'm getting bored. Let me just change the channel. I changed it, and that came on, and I watched it. And it wasn't too long ago where Jackie Robinson was getting abuse on the field, and it was perfectly fine.
Yeah,
everybody did the same thing, right?
Yeah,
fascinating.
We're slow to learn as an entity. So hopefully these big shifts kick us in the right direction. I think we're heading in the right direction.
I think it's generational, right?
Yeah.
Elvis Presley was the demon, remember, when he first came out?
Yeah, him and his crazy hips.
Hips, right? Oh my God, he's sexualizing our young daughters. Let's kill him. And now we look back going, what are you, nuts?
Did you see the Grammy Awards? I don't know if you caught...
Here's the one thing you won't know. My number one biggest the most listened to 1 hour session that I did one Saturday evening with a gin and tonic in hand is a 1950s and 60s rock and roll mix.
Nice.
I am huge in Mexico. I am huge in Mexico. 76,000 plays last year in Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah. On SoundCloud. Crazy, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. But Bill Haley, Eddie Cochran, Elvis Presley, Chubby Checker, I did that. I was just as a whim, and it's now the most listened thing I have on SoundCloud.
That's pretty cool. My grandfather, who is the theme song of this podcast, the opening and the closing outro, was in Bill Haley and the Comets.
No way.
But he was in Bill Haley and the Comets before Rock Around the Clock came out, and he quit because he said, and I quote, that Bill was a real asshole. I was like, well, yeah, but had a pretty big hit song there, buddy. Like,
I know, right? One of the biggest, if not, and that was from in my set. That's the opening track. Rock Around the Clock, and then it was Eddie Cochran, Summertime Blues first, and then Bill Haley and the Comets, and then I went to the Big Bopper, and then to Buddy Holly, right? So
Nice.
Crazy, amazing.
Small world, man. Well, listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you go. I know it's late on your side, and
This is great. We should do it again. We should carry on this conversation. I want to hear more about the comedy. I want you to do a couple of routines with me, for God's sake.
Oh man, it's so weird to do. Like I have not done Zoom shows. It's weird. It's weird to do it without that live feeling.
It's tough, right? Because you feed off the energy, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it's a whole different thing. I have a lot of friends who have done well with Zoom when they started just treating it like a separate thing.
Yeah.
But like at first it was like stand up but Zoom, and it was terrible, and people really struggled because you're not getting that feedback. But people who embraced it and did a different thing because they're funny on Zoom really have come into their own.
It's a struggle. And look, I DJ'd in clubs for a long time. So
yeah.
I used to follow what was going on in the crowd. If the crowd reacted to a tune, then I would carry on. If the crowd didn't react to the tune, I'd change it, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't have to do much talking. It was very much around surveying the crowd and watching them and getting them on the dance floor and getting them engaged and having fun.
Yeah.
And so when I started doing the radio show on Spreaker, it was the same thing. I didn't talk much. I said, look, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to spin music and you can use it for work. And a lot of my friends said, this is great. I use it for my workouts. It's perfect.
Nice.
You keep me going on my bike or whatever. There's no talking. It's just track after track.
Yeah.
And then when these radio guys came along from London, they said, send us a demo. We've heard you know your music. Send us a demo. So it has to be 20 minutes and you have to talk. And I struggled for 4 months in creating a 20-minute demo.
Wow.
Because I had nothing to react to. I'm now, so here I am. Just imagine this. You're in a studio and you have to engage with people and imagine that they're out there listening to you.
Yeah.
And talk.
Yeah.
It's hard as hell.
It's different. It's a different skill.
Yeah.
You just made me think of something that's really cool that I never put together before, which is related to what I was saying. Why I started doing the podcast was because I missed having conversations with comics and that kind of thing. Being a DJ, not only do you're putting it out there and that's cool and people will enjoy it, but also it is a thing that you can do solitary by yourself just for the love of the music.
That's it.
And you have dedicated an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is, every week where you're like, I'm going to go listen to music for 2 hours and nobody can say anything because it's a show. Well, I got to do my show. Like you're like, well, I got to go do my show, which as a kid, I would listen to music all the time, nonstop, like put on headphones, listen to the record start to finish if I wanted to. I actually, oh my God, I totally forgot. My freshman year in college, I did work at the radio station. I had a late night DJ spot.
Look at that.
Literally haven't thought about
Memories
that in so long.
coming back.
But you're in a great studio listening to great music. Who cares if anybody's listening,
That's right.
It's
That's right.
You get to oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah. So I still think we should get you on Twitch. We should do a Friday night Matt Neal Twitch comedy show.
We'll see.
I'll send you a link or a couple of there's these crazy guys, Hawaiian guys that do some afternoon music on Twitch that is just hilarious.
Yeah.
And they basically do it to raise money for their fellow artists in Hawaii who have not been doing any concerts and therefore not making any money.
Yeah.
And so they do these lunchtime concerts. They'll do a 2-hour session and you can donate via PayPal.
Yeah.
And they've been getting consistently $5,000 to $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
that
rad.
they then spread to all of their colleagues,
Yeah.
band members, people who are struggling.
Oh, that's good.
It's really cool.
Yeah, I haven't explored Twitch at all. I see it showed up in my car in the entertainment system. But I just, man, sometimes I wish that was my only job, but I have, as much as I'm into that stuff, I still feel behind.
I know.
It's
I know.
going.
Well, the only reason I discovered it is my middle son who's at home, living with us at the moment, because he was a coach for soccer and he got furloughed. So he got a computer and he does Twitch broadcasts. And I was like, what the hell is this? Because I'm buying all this gear. camera and microphone and, hooking up the router to all sorts of things. And so I started exploring it, and it is an amazing, amazing, amazing channel, amazing platform.
Huh.
Amazon did something right.
Huh. I'll check it out.
Check it out.
This has been awesome. It's really good to catch up with you.
Great
I want to
fun.
do this again.
Yeah.
I know scheduling is always a challenge. But you have the link, so we can do it whenever. Just grab a time. I'd love to chat. This stuff's fun. The other
Next time, let's pick a couple of topics that we can go explore a little bit more. That people might find interesting. I think one of them could be, why was Bill Haley such a dick? I think that could be one. We could get your grandfather.
I think that I could be wrong. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I think we talked about it on the podcast. So my first podcast, I think he tells the story about Bill Haley.
Really? Oh, right. That would be awesome.
Yeah, but I think next one, we should talk. We should try and get Peter Shankman on. Peter is a keynote speaker, made his money doing keynote speeches. Last year, he was completely furloughed. Yeah. He just did a thing on Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago where he talked about how his world has changed dramatically. My friend Kate O'Neill, who's also a speaker and did the circuit, is also coming to terms with this new model. Yeah. Her entire income dried up last year, and she didn't travel anywhere, any of that stuff. And she was an in-demand. She's written a couple of books around humans and technology and AI and humans and, all that sort of thing. Kate is whip smart, amazingly funny, and a great presence on stage, but she really knows her stuff. And so for her to be furloughed saddened me a bit. And, so she's changed the model, and she's doing a bit of this Zoom kind of thing and that sort of stuff. So maybe something like that we should talk about, see if that helps any of your listeners. Yeah, and Clubhouse stuff too. I'm dipping into Clubhouse here and there now as well. And so we got to develop that other idea. So super. Lots to do.
All right, my friend. Great to catch up with you. Good to see you.
Man, this has been so fun catching up. I miss hanging out.
And one of these days, brother. Me too. And it's great to see you. That's the best bit.
You as well. All right. We'll get together soon. We'll both be vaccinated soon.
Yay! And, can't wait.
Yeah. All right, man.
All right. See you, brother.
Thank you so much, Ritesh. Have a great evening, sir. Later.
But why should I try to resist when, baby, I know too well that I've got you under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything come what might for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that rings in the nights, repeats and repeats.